Hi, I'm back, and tonight I want to build a mermaid cave. That's what I've been calling it anyway. And I mean, you're gonna see exactly what I mean by that. My idea was just basically that here in Solani there is this cave, right? And I'm kind of sad that you can't really go in there and explore it along with your sim. It's just a text adventure. And so I kind of had the idea to try and build something cool out here that is kind of like how I imagine it could look in there. I don't know if it really turns out like that, because it's really less of a cave and it's more of just a cool landscape. But you know what? A cool landscape is cool as well, so. And right now you're seeing my first attempt at this to go about this. Which didn't work out. I deleted this later on, but you can kind of get a basic idea of what I am doing. My main problem with this was that this is in a basement, and basements in The Sims 4 are kind of like in a void, sort of. So if you go down there, it's surrounded by black, and then also if you go into tab mode and look up, you can't see the sky. And I thought that was a little bit sad. Another thing that I didn't really like about this first version is how there is kind of like a room in between. So you have the surface, then you have kind of the dead in-between space, and then underneath is the cave part. And I didn't like that either. And also here I looked at it in tab and I discovered, you know, the ceiling, and also that just doesn't look that great in the environment, so I decided to change it. So instead I decided to try and recreate this using the terrain tools. And I like the shapes of the pools enough, so I just saved those and then copied them over. But this time, instead of building them in a basement, I just kind of lowered them down. And then to kind of make this into a sort of cave, I just kind of built like a platform above this, as in not what The Sims 4 calls a platform, but I guess a foundation? What is this called? I have no idea. But I just kind of built a floor above it. But then I also didn't want to have it completely dark underneath this roof thingy, so I kind of left some holes in there. And in fact, they're actually going to be quite big, so, you know, there is actually not that much space underneath like the ceiling, so not much cave really, but I still really like it. And so that's what I'm doing right here in this clip. These are going to be the holes, these rooms. Kind of a weird way to go about this maybe, but building something like this in this game is kind of a pain, so maybe there would have been a better way to do this. And then here I'm also drawing in my shape using a fence and everything. Again, not sure if this is the most efficient way, but this is the best way that I could think of that works. Oh, another thing that I didn't really like about that first version was the fact that I couldn't really figure out how you're supposed to get down there. And with this version, I could just kind of smooth out the terrain and your Sims can just walk down that slope. But to be fair, there was one advantage about that first version, which was that we were working with the surface, so the sands, and we could have used terrain tools on there, as in the terrain paint. And here I had to use this really ugly, oversaturated grass. But do you know what? Luckily it doesn't look that bad, I don't think. In fact, I actually think it works quite well in this tropical area here, where actually maybe the grass doesn't look that oversaturated because the other grass that is natural here, well, quote unquote natural, is also very green. So actually I think we're fine. It's just that whenever you place this in like Willow Creek, for example, there I think the grass is less bright, and so it just looks really, really exaggerated, and I don't like that at all. And then here you can see I'm already placing in some rocks. Unfortunately, we have the usual debug problem with these, and your Sims can just walk straight through them. So I will also surround these with lots of plants. I mean, I was going to do that anyway, but those always really help because your Sims can't walk through those. And I actually discovered that a lot of these rocks kind of reach underneath the surface. And at first I was like, oh no, but then actually, I think it's kind of cool. I think it kind of adds to the whole cave vibe. Yeah, and here I'm playtesting and discovering what I just talked about, the fact that my test sim Jerry here can just walk through everything, which by the way, yes, Jerry is back. I don't always point him out in every video, but he is back. And I am bringing him along every time, except for the times that I don't. Oh no. And then here I was thinking, you know what? This is coming along nicely. I should look at what it looks like on the gallery so far. You know that little thumbnail that it always generates? Look at this. What is this? I don't think I've ever gotten sabotaged by the gallery this badly. I mean, it's happened before that I saved a build and then looked at the thumbnail and it didn't look that good, but this is straight up glitched. And I even had a look around in tab mode to figure out where the camera is, and I think it's kind of inside of this rock back here. But I don't think that if you build something on here that the thumbnail is always glitched. My theory is that this happened because I used the terrain tools and kind of lowered the ground down, and that maybe somehow made the camera that takes this little thumbnail picture also go down. That is so unfortunate, because I bet that the picture that it should have generated that wouldn't be glitched would have looked so cool. But do you know what? We can't let that stop us. So I just carried on, and here you can see I started decorating the pools. So I went into debug and I found a lot of the items that are placed underwater here in this world. And I basically just took those and spammed them on the bottom of the pools. It's honestly quite surprising how effective just spamming items is when it comes to building in this game. Oh, and by the way, yes, your Sims can still swim in this, because I know it really looks like the game should be like, no, everything in this pool is blocked, there's a million items in here, no way that your Sims can swim in there. But actually, I think you can just put about anything in a pool and they just ignore it. Don't quote me on that though, because I'm not actually sure. And I think the coolest parts of my little pool decorations down here are these pink plants, which actually I don't think are meant for underwater. I think these are actually meant to be like land plants, whatever that's called. But I just placed them underwater anyway. And other than that, I just make sure to use lots of items that are either pink or greenish, kind of bluish, greenish, kind of like that. And by the way, maybe you saw it earlier, but originally I wanted to use I want to call it water paint, but that's not really what it is. You can apply different types of water to a pool, right? And originally I wanted to use the really, really mossy one, just because it's my favorite. And overall, I think I wanted to make this place a lot more mossier. But after a while, I decided to maybe just go for like the standard water, because I think it fits this world way better overall and looks way more like the ocean out there. And also that way you can just get a way better look at all of my items that I placed down here at the bottom. And then in this clip here, I tried placing these ladders on the side to see if that would work, and it doesn't, so I don't keep this. But I kept this in for another reason, which you just saw. An aqua zip just kind of spawned out of nowhere. And this clip here is where I discovered it, because I just kept building and didn't even see it at first. And I thought I was going mad. I was like, did I place that there? But no, apparently it just spawned. So it seems like if you have a body of water, and that includes a pool that is large enough in this world here in Sulani, that there is a chance for vehicles like this to just kind of spawn. And as you can see, I tested if this actually works, and it does. Which I didn't really expect, because I also tested a boat earlier, and the game does let your sim ride that, but it really shouldn't, as you can probably see here in this clip. And yeah, I think I can stop making videos now. No way I'll ever record anything better than that. But anyway, back to the build. This is where I started working on the landscaping, and look, I found this really cool, like, sort of draped vine item, whatever you would call this. And when I found this, I was just like, oh yeah, this one is made for me. The only thing is I didn't find any other items that are kind of like this, so I only used this and kind of hung it from everywhere. And I think that makes it look a little bit repetitive, but it's probably fine. You know what? I'm kind of starting to second guess myself here. Because I'm thinking like, because this isn't really a cave, right? Because like, there's obviously the holes. But more importantly, it's like half open. And I'm kind of like, would it have been cooler for me to like close it completely and turn it into a real actual cave? I mean, it's done now. To be fair, I haven't uploaded it yet. And I haven't uploaded the video either yet. So I could still change everything. But I'm not going to. But yeah, I mean, I really like this lot, but I'm kind of like, would I have liked it more if I did different things? Probably not. I don't know. I think what I'll do is I'll just keep how I did this in mind and maybe build like an actual proper cave somewhere else. After all, there is still a lot of opportunity in other worlds where caves would also be cool. And I bet if I went back now and changed some things, I would eventually just go back to the first version because I would end up liking that more. Because isn't that how it always goes? But anyway, here in this clip, as you can see, I am building like a little room to the side here. Because I was thinking like, there isn't really much to do here. And when I built this originally, I was kind of thinking of sort of giving mermaids more to do, but all they can really do here is swim, and that's not even that special. So I was like, what if I build a little secret entrance over here into a little secret basement, and I actually make like a little hidden mermaid club? Is that so random? Is that so unfitting? I don't know, I thought it was fun. Besides, if you don't like it, and you download this, you can just either delete it or just completely ignore this room down here. And I mean, yes, this isn't like actually secret, as in all of the Sims will know that it's here. And it's not even like mermaid exclusive, because I don't think that's possible to do. I know there is like a special door in the werewolf pack that only werewolves can go through, but I don't think there is anything like that for mermaids. But actually, I've seen a lot of mermaids come and visit this down here during my playtesting. I think it may be because all of the mermaids are young adults, aren't they? Or at least most of them. And I think nightclubs kind of attract more young adults. I'm pretty sure the game like considers your age and then only spawns, you know, age-appropriate people. So there isn't really a way for me to make mermaids come here automatically. But I think it may just work out anyway. Oh, and this here is one of my favorite details about this build, or specifically about the secret club down here, is I put a room underneath and I placed those like floor glass thingies to make the floor glass, yeah. And I placed some underwater objects down there to make it look like, you know, there is water down there. Originally, I wanted to flood the room down there, and I even thought about flooding the room up there as well, where your Sims can go. But turns out you can't flood basements. You can flood rooms on the surface using the same tool that you can make to put the water into ponds, but it doesn't work with basements, unfortunately. But by just placing underwater items down there and also using that like cyan-y lighting, it just makes it look like an aquarium. And also I used a fishing spot to kind of get the fish VFX, and I think that makes it look very believable as well. And then here I completely talked over it, but I remembered that there is this waterfall item in debug from this world. I had to change a couple of things to make it work. For example, I had to place some bigger rocks towards the sides of it to actually make it look believable, but I think it works out quite well. I'm not actually sure where this waterfall is used in the world. I want to say that it's in that village, like the neighborhood that is in the bottom right on the like world map view. But maybe I am misremembering? I'm pretty sure I sized it down as well. Maybe. I don't really know. I'm pretty sure though that this waterfall is not the same waterfall that is actually interactable. The one that is in this neighborhood that I am in building this right now as well. Which is kind of strange because I don't know if it is in debug. I feel like it should be in debug somewhere because it is an item that is used in the environment after all, especially since it's interactable. But maybe it's in show hidden objects then and not in show live edit objects. I don't know, but I couldn't find the actually interactable one in debug. I could only find this one. But so as you could tell, I placed a lot of items on here that are kind of skill related, or chairs and benches and stuff. And one thing that I also wanted was an easel, which I'm placing right now. And I set out on a special mission to make it so that if your Sims paint from reference, that you can actually like get a good shot of something cool around here that I built, and so actually make like a cool painting from reference. And so I tried out a couple of different spots. And I ended up placing the easel over here in this corner, kind of close to where the entrance to our secret club is, which you can get a couple of different paintings from. I feel like underneath the ceiling here, it doesn't look that great. I don't know if there is anything I could have done to like make it look better, but I think you can still get a couple of cool paintings from this perspective. And as you can see, I had Jerry painting this one just then, which actually turned out to be a masterpiece because I cheated his painting skill to level 10 a while ago for some other painting that I made, but I can't remember. But then I also placed an easel up here where you can, I think, get the better images. I think I prefer these. And then wait for it. Here is what the finished product looks like. I think this is really cool. And I actually snagged this one. I did leave one painting on this lot for you, but I also took 2 of them with me in Jerry's inventory, and I think it could be cool to kind of place them in another build as a reference. But with that, we are all done. So let me show you around. Here's first of all what it looks like from up above in the environment, and I think it fits right in. I feel like in many of these shots that are kind of from further away, you can't really tell where it is. It blends right in, and I really like that. Also, since this isn't like a house, the tour is kind of a bit awkward. I really didn't know how I was gonna show this off, so I hope you like me just kind of floating around and showing off random stuff in a random order. But again, I am a big fan of how this turned out, and there is actually lots of stuff to do on here for your Sims. That's always kind of something I struggle with, the fact that, you know, what do I do in like a park, for example, with my Sims? But actually, there's quite a few items. For example, out here, I didn't even mention this at first, but I also placed one of the tents, as in the base game tents, because, wait, did I not mention that, by the way? This build uses only island living in the base game. Did I say that? I think I may not have said that. Whoops. No, I don't think I talked about it because I'm pretty sure I also didn't mention that I'm making this for my save file, right? Where I try to limit packs and stuff. And that is why I'm only using that pack. But anyway, I guess I did mention it in the end. Did take me a while, but at least I said it. Oh man, but then, so here is me showing off all of the layers. I guess usually I'd say levels, but here it's more like layers. And then, fun fact, if you download this off the gallery, you're actually going to get it the other way around. I decided to turn this around because this way, the second image on the gallery looks a bit better and a bit cooler from this perspective. And you know, after the first one already turned out so bad, we gotta make up for it somehow. I think in my save file I might put it the quote-unquote correct way around, because that way just feels better for me because I built it that way. But yeah, you can see that didn't change anything about the image. It's still glitched, but at least the second one looks better. And yeah, Thank you so much for watching all the way to the end. If you liked this video, you'll probably also like the others in my playlist, as well as the one that's coming next week, where I built in San Myshuno, and I built like a whole street, so it's like multiple buildings on one lot, and it turned out so cool, and you are so invited to that one as well. And yeah, bye!